Hello everyone, this is Gorax and today we're playing Legend of the Mushroom, which released a new class recently, and I've been playing that class. I switched to that class and this is going to be a guide for those of you who are pre-level 100 to boost your early game experience with this class, as it's not as easy as the already established classes. There are a few things that we need to work on to make it work, to make it good. First things first, before level 100, you shouldn't really worry much about substats. Obviously, you want to aim for the best ones, but as long as the equipment has good attack, HP, and defense stats, go for it. This will boost your overall stats, making you more tanky, dealing more damage, rather than focusing on getting these thresholds. We will worry about the thresholds above level 100. But if you are in the situation where you have the same main stats but different substats, you want to get PAL combo and PAL crit as a main damage types. If you want to go defensive road, go for extra evasion, as at this stage before level 100 we don't really have much sustain. When it comes to the skills, there are few viable options. I'm running few different setups depending on my enemies. So my main sustain is basically running the Nature's Renewal skill, which will heal me, and shield as well. You can delay them. This is something new that I found out. You can delay the skills by a couple seconds depending on the enemy. So if you're facing a ranged enemy, you will want to cast a shield a little bit earlier compared to the melee enemy that takes time to get to you. Now, obviously, starting off, you won't have that many choices, but this is a skills that you can get very early on. Also, a good skill to have is Easy Breezy, as it will reduce the attack of the target. So we don't really worry about the damage of the skills, as most of our damage is coming from our pals. Now, if you're playing against melee heroes that are getting to in your face basically and killing you, you might consider using some control skills such as Divine, which will slow the target for 40 seconds, or you can even imprison them for 1 second. Okay, these skills work really well, help you out, and basically make sure your enemies are never getting too close to you before you can unleash hell on them, and your pets are constantly dealing damage. If you want to go for more offensive way, when you know you can survive the fight but you're missing this a little bit of damage, this is what I have here built. So basically, out of the skills that are available to me, I only added one more, which is this one, which will increase my basic damage. So still do basic damage basically. And since I don't have any of other skills, because I didn't invest in the skills, I'm basically saving everything for the PAL rush and the skill rush. As you can see, my PAL and my skills are really low. I don't really have much damage there when it comes to the stats, but I'm doing fine. I'm currently like quite high rank, but obviously I've spent a little bit of money. But yeah, this class is really good. It will struggle early on since your pals will be weak, but yeah, it is definitely doable. So we covered the skills, and now let's go over the pals. Okay, so when it comes to the pals, you want to focus on the highest damage multiplier, because at this stage early on you won't have any good deploy effects. However, there are a few that I will highly suggest. If you can get your hands, if you bought the passes, this guy here, Triumphant Hydrostate, will help you with your skill cooldowns and can get high damage multiplier as well. And the dragon that we get increases your basic attack crit damage. We don't worry, we don't really build around crit rate, but he's got very good damage multiplier as well. Other few that are worth to mention, again, if you're struggling against melee heroes, you want to go for snails, which reduce the movement speed of enemies, and they have different grades as well, as you can see here. Ideally, you want to get good multipliers to deal damage and pals that boost PAL damage as well. Don't worry about skill damage, but get the highest one possible. As you can see, I'm using Snail Hill, which reduces enemy movement by 35%. So I'm using Cactus to deal extra damage, right? So he's like a damage type of the PAL. This one, Triumph and Hydro Square, to reduce the cooldowns. I'm using this to reduce enemy attack speed, because as long as we survive the whole battle, the pulse will do damage for us. But this Snow Goblin has very high damage multiplier as level 1 pal. Then we have this dragon here. It increases crit damage bonus 20%. Since I moved from the X-Bow to the Beastmaster, I still have a little bit of crit rate, so crit damage bonus working well. A little bit low damage multiplier, but I also have a Relic that will work well with it. Ice Cream Snail here to reduce the movement speed, and as I said, Fortune Dragon. Obviously, there are amazing choices here when it comes to our legendary and immortal ones, but I'll cover that in the mid stages of the game or after level 100 once I get access to them. But at the moment, don't worry about that. You won't have access to all of that early on. When it comes to the mounts, obviously, if you're finished the first rushes, the player and level rush, you might have gained enough currency to buy an advanced one, and the one that we can get early on is this one. Hot Wheels cost 10, and it boosts the PAL attack speed by 2% up to 40%. So while it's not that good in short skirmishes, it actually adds up to the longer fights like the Grumpy and others. When it comes to the relics, we want a PAL crit rate. That's the only one that makes sense at the moment. Depending on what PALs you use, you might consider getting this. This is what I'm wearing. I'm using these dragons. I got 2 dragons, so they have 20% chance to deal damage equal to 0.5% of their own maximum HP. If you have snails and Hydrocyte PALs, you might go for that as well. This is another viable option that I switch around to see which gives me the better outcome, as I'm using both a snail and Hydro sprites. Then if you use sprites, you can use this one. I didn't unlock all of them, but if you have chicken pals, this is looking really good. And then we have this one, depending on what you wear. So I'm wearing that because I don't have really anything else that I could. Cactus is ideal. It will increase the combo rate by 10%. If you're running cat and deers, you can use this. And if you're dog, fox, or octopuses, you can look at this. Sadly, as you know, this is early game, so we don't have access to everything, and we're trying to play with what we have. When it comes to the prayer statue, you want PAL damage, as much PAL damage as possible, and it's not easy to get it, but you will eventually get it. Also, there's a prayer rush which will help you and motivate you to get good rolls here. And since I changed the class midway through at level 85, I didn't really have time to build it properly. When it comes to the Avians, you want to aim for the Yogurt Champ, if you're able to get it, as each PAL crit increases its final crit damage by 2%, stacking up to 5 times, and each PAL combo increases its final combo damage by 2% as well. So this is the ideal one, but if you can't get your hands on it, go for Smart Assistant, as he increases PAL attack speed by 5% every 5 seconds after the battle starts, up to 25%. And we're also looking for attack PAL damage on the PALs, and I was lucky enough to get one like this. PAL damage on the PALs works really well. Obviously, we're also looking for PAL crit damage and etc., but that's what you should be focusing on. I don't have access to any of the advanced artifacts at the moment, so I will not cover them. That will come in later. That's it for today. There will be more guides coming your way with all the rushes, mid-game build, end-game build once I get to it. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want more, and as always, thank you for watching and stay safe. If you are looking to save money on your purchases, AppGallery is running cashback offer. First purchase of the day will yield 20% cashback, while other purchases will yield 15%. For example, if you buy a $100 pack, you will get $20 to use on another pack. If you are a bigger spender, there is also a VIP campaign. If this sounds good for you, follow these easy steps. Make sure your account is bound to either Facebook or Google account. Install AppGallery. Install HMS Core. Create your Huawei ID. Ensure your country are set within the campaign territory. You can freely change country in the settings. Download Legend of Mushroom, preferably using my download link to support me. And that's it. Make sure when you purchase, you accept the offer and claim cashback points. Lastly, if you could join my Discord and let me know you have done all of the above, I can ensure you receive any support needed when facing an issue.